Good day, everybody. It is Thursday, October 11th. It is time for Market Protocol's Engineering Weekly. It's week number 41 on our calendar. And today we have some Southern fried cooking. It is Southern Food Heritage Day. So things like fried chicken, barbecue, cornbread, fried okra, buttermilk biscuits, sweet tea, peach cobbler. I know Lazar is hungry, so got a couple of questions for you guys. Does anyone know what red-eye gravy is? Now, some of you
I'm
might,
born and bred Southern man, so you're talking up my alley.
So what's the story behind red-eye gravy? Do you know?
I honestly have never in my life heard of red-eye gravy. Not gonna lie. I mean, I grew up as deep in the South as you can get, and my family is about as redneck as they come. So, black eyed peas. I know we have lots of tradition around black eyed peas and fried chicken, but
yep.
Short of, I've never heard of red eye gravy. Shrimp and grits is a big thing too.
That's a big one, right? And so red eye gravy is made. It's a sauce. It's made from the drippings of pan-fried ham mixed with black coffee.
I have never heard that in my entire life.
That sounds rough.
That does sound
rough.
Yeah.
There is a story. It says President Andrew Jackson, when he was looking for some gravy for his biscuits, he said that he wanted to be as red as his cook's eyes, of course, which were bloodshot from drinking the previous evening. Didn't know that, did you? How about frogmore stew?
I've eaten lots of frog legs in my day, so I'm gonna go with that.
It's actually not what you think it is. It's the name that throw you off. So if you ever had a one-pot boil, put some shrimp, blue crab, corn, new potatoes, and such in there, and you take and you dump it out onto a paper cover table, and you eat it with your hands.
Yeah, that's not traditionally Southern, though. That's, well, it depends what you consider Southern. Anyone from the North thinks anything from the Mason-Dixon line is the South. But true Southerners start excluding states like Louisiana, and Louisiana even excludes themselves. Louisiana thinks they're their own thing because they're like this mishmash of Cajun. So until you get into like Louisiana, Mississippi, you won't really see that type of cooking.
Yep.
And
all the factions in the South, it's really interesting. Okay, last one. This is an interesting one. Cracklin.
Oh, I can tell you what cracklin is. I'm all about some cracklin.
Go ahead.
Cracklin is generally like the little fried bits of skin from a pork, from a pig. Not to be confused with chitlins.
Chitlins, right? Yeah, I almost put that one on there. Which is?
Intestines.
There you go.
that is a very popular Southern dish. Chitlins are a very popular Southern dish.
It is. So
I don't want to gross anyone out, but have you ever seen how people like clean their chitlins? It's quite a hilarious event. Like when we would do them, we would have a whole hog barbecue. So they would pull the chitlins out and then literally put it on a hose like a balloon and just hose it out with a hose. So funny to watch because it blows up because it's like
it's intestine.
Yeah.
Well, we have some Southern trivia today on the food front.
I think we're going to fire Robert from leading these calls from now on.
All right.
Let's go back to some engineering.
All right. On to the engineering.
Let's go into some introductions. I'll start with Phil.
Hey, everyone. I'm Phil Sasser, CTO and co-founder of Market Protocol. And yeah, glad to be here today and learn all about Southern cooking.
Southern fried cooking. Patrick.
Hey, guys. Patrick Charles. I'm in Denver. I'm an advisor, and I missed everything about Southern cooking.
Oh, you'll have to listen to the live on tape version.
It's a good thing.
Thank goodness for editing.
Yeah.
Yes. Lazar.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lazar, community manager for Market Protocol. I was hungry before the call started, but after Travis explained us what's what in this Southern style cooking, I suddenly don't feel the hunger anymore. So thank you for that, Travis. So I'll be attending full length of this call.
Don't think Southern food is actually extremely good. It's just
Okay,
not good for you. That's the problem.
You're right, yeah.
He does have a point. Dan.
Dan Matthews. I am a contract developer working on the service listener and mail lister and generally background processes to make everything run a little bit faster when not reading directly from the blockchain. And I am sitting here still hungry in my favorite pizza place in the town I'm in Croatia. So I will probably be eating some unhealthy food myself while we get this call going.
Oh, you know, the other national day, I think it was National Sausage Pizza Day here as well, but I picked the Southern fried cooking.
Sausage pizza, you got
Thanks, Dan.
If you want to be traditional Southern, have yourself some black-eyed peas and fried chicken today. Normally it's a New Year's dish, and it's supposed to bring you good luck. So there you go.
There it is. Bass.
Hey, Bas Bauman here. I'm on the Market Protocol business team, and I don't know about you guys, I'm hungry hearing all this talk. Pizza, Southern cooking, all sounds good.
Thanks for joining us, Bass. Eswar.
Hey everyone, I'm Ishwar. I'm part of the core team. So I have no idea until now, like what's part of the Southern cooking and all. And it's just great to hear. I'll just Google it for a while and see what's all this about.
Phil will have to bring a care package when he visits.
Indian food's way better.
Yeah, I would love that.
Hey, Denton, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey guys, I'm Nitin. I'm a part of the core team from Market Protocol. Pretty interesting stuff out there with respect to Southern food.
Thanks. I'm sure every country has their own interesting dishes, so you could share some time, some of yours with us.
Definitely.
And Travis.
Hi, my name is Travis Mathis. I'm from Vermont in the United States, and I am a core team developer at Market Protocol, working mostly on the decentralized application to interface with the protocol itself.
Excellent. Thanks, Travis. All right, everybody. I think that's everyone we have on the call. Let's jump into this week. This week, I know you've heard the past few weeks been working on the simulated exchange and the UI, UX. This week, we'll complete that work, and later on in the engineering call, you'll be able to see a little bit more about the progress we've made. Again, it's a lot of polishing, a lot of under the covers, making things look nice and working great for use for our upcoming beta release. So really excited about that. We're also updating, we have updated our contracts and ABIs. So heads up on that if you're working with any of our projects. We're also, Dan, as he mentioned, is working on our SendGrid mail integration, and we're finishing that up this week as well. We're also going to start to do a little bit of WebSocket work for the UI and the D app. Dan is also going to help out with that and make things look a little bit more polished and work just a touch better. Phil is completing or has completed some of the chain link testing work that we're working on. And that work will most likely get integrated in after we do the official D app beta release. We've got some market API work for cores and UI testing, and then we're going to start working on some of the website redesign if time permits this week. So that's what we have going on. We've made some pretty good progress. These goals we put in place on Monday of this week, so we're deep into this iteration. So that's where we're at. Now, our monthly release status, you'll see we're coming to the end of our October release, which will coincide with what we're calling Feature Complete on the simulated exchange. So we're really excited about this, making great progress, tracking very well, not only from each iteration, but also now that this is our third monthly release, it looks pretty good in comparison to some of the other ones. So getting a lot of muscle memory under our belts, and things look pretty good. So, guess what I did? I closed the tab that I had the updates for some of these other sections, so that's okay. We do have a couple of releases this week for our software, namely on the Market.js. If you're working with Market.js, please update that. We do have some new contracts that you'll need to pull into your project. And I think that's it as far as dependency-wise and shipping software. So with that, anything that anyone wants to share in the way of breaking changes, heads up, or anything that they found this week in working with our projects? I will pause for you. Going once, going twice. Sold. All right, let's move on to our demo section. As I mentioned, the SIMX, the team has been working diligently to get this up and running. And so, Travis, are you ready?
I am.
That sounds very confident.
Sort of. All right. Give me just a second here. I need just 1 second.
I would move on to the discussion topics, although I'm not sure if we have any today.
Okay. Hopefully this is all ready to go. All right. I am ready. So let me just
share your screen, pause, state your name, and what you're going to demo.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
All
wow.
Right. So my name is Travis Mathis. I am a core team developer at Market Protocol, and I'm just going to be showing an update of the decentralized application and the simulated exchange. So we've been pretty much focusing for the last week. The week before we attempted to show a trade take place. This week we've been really putting some polish on the DApp and really trying to bring it home. Notably, we've fixed some responsiveness so that the DApp or that the exchange collapses properly. You'll also notice some loading states when opening various widgets and things, or when swapping between contracts and loading new data, just really cleaning up the experience. And so we've also taken care of a lot of bugs that you may have seen in the past weeks. So we'll attempt to actually create a trade or fill a trade from the order book. So you can see what that looks like now. So we're going to buy 4 EOS at about $5.36 USD, or 5.36 and some change in our fake USDT token. So we're going to buy that and just confirm that transaction. And that was pretty much that. We didn't have to deposit because we've already had collateral deposited in our wallet. And so if we go and take a look at that transaction, it should actually be a success this week as we deployed new contracts and we haven't had any more problems with failing transactions since we took care of that. And that looks like that is done. I just got a confirmation, so it should just take a second here. And then we should see that transaction appear here in our trade history. It should become a part of our positions, and it should show up as a fill. Give it just a second to finish. There we go. Hey, it worked. All right, I feel pretty good about that. So we'll do a quick refresh and just select the correct contract, and you'll see that that order is now here for EOS at 536.8 and change. You'll see it also becomes a part of my positions, which still has a bug, and we're aware of those, and it also becomes a part of my fills. The other thing that we worked on this week is moving the off-chain transactions out of local storage, where we kind of mocked it up and built the conception of the idea, and then moved it to a more permanent solution so that it's semi-centralized using our API database solution. Eventually, we'll move that database to a decentralized solution as some of our partners become available, like BlueCell or something of that nature. So we'll just go ahead and take care of that and show an example of placing a buy order or a sell order. So if I just wanted to buy one EOS at 5.37 roughly USDT, sorry for the dog barking. I signed that off-chain transaction, and you notice that that order appeared in my open orders immediately. And now in the past, this is where you would take that JSON string, or this would become part of the order book. We have not tied our orders as we're just getting the API portion set up. So the order book and open orders are not tied together. So your open order does not become a part of the liquidity at the moment. Only liquidity is provided by our bot. But before we launch the DApp, we will give you a way that you can share this and have someone fill that order for you. And you can also just the same, even though this transaction never takes place on the blockchain, we do have the ability to blacklist a transaction when you are ready. It does require you to send a transaction, so there is some gas cost to that. When you do want to cancel an order, so you can't. So there does need to be some thought behind placing orders, I think, because you are. I mean, it's a very small amount, but there is some gas to pay to cancel an order, and that order gets added to essentially a blacklist so that it can no longer be filled, even if someone has your signed order. And so that order has taken place, and you'll see that the transaction is here. And that order hash was added to the table so that it can't be filled. And yeah, that's pretty much where we're at with the DApp at the moment. It's, as far as we're considering it feature complete, you can from end to end using the market protocol now in the SIM exchange complete all of the actions required, from depositing collateral to a wallet and to a contract, opening a buy or a sell order, filling those orders or filling orders from an order book. All of the related historical data that goes with that is available. And pretty soon, the next step is to connect this all up to a socket so that those trade histories and your order positions, your deposits and collaterals and all of that have updates in real time, so you don't have to continuously refresh the page waiting for that stuff to happen. And so that's the last step before release. We're very close and getting very excited. Thanks, and have a great day.
Awesome. Wow. What does everyone think of that?
Looks very nice.
Yeah,
We should be able to build some excitement.
Definitely incredible that how far we've come with the DApp. So just congratulations, everyone working really hard on that. Appreciate it. It's very cool.
Yeah, it was like less than a month ago when you were just copy pasting JSONs, and now it's just clicks. That's quite a progress.
If I don't know how strong your video skills are, Lazar, but it would kind of be interesting to see a time-elapsed culmination of the different demos to see the clunkiness of the UI. I don't know how that would work or translate, but this thought just came into my head.
Yeah,
Before and after.
Yeah, that'll be really cool.
I think we could do something like that. I'll put that idea into mind. Like Jack and Jesse are the ones that have some good editing skills. So I'll put that idea onto their mind to see whether they feel like they can build something up that's going to be very interesting to see.
Sounds good. Great. Thanks, Travis. Awesome progress, guys. And I appreciate everything the core team as well as the community's done to get this project kicked off and through to completion, through the next release. So thanks very much. As always, as my editorial moment here. Please join us on Discord. Phil, if you could post that link in the chat, that would be wonderful. Or join our Telegram channel. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to have you involved in our project in any way possible. We do host our board on GitHub, and there's also links to our project board that shows the current open issues and some of the things that are in our backlog, as well as our icebox. So if you see something there that looks interesting, hit us up. It's something that you might be able to work on and help us accelerate the project. So with that, do we have any discussion topics or feedback? Anything at all? Even if you want to know how long Phil's beard is going to grow, you can ask that.
Nice. I wanted to maybe chat a little bit about the tests in the types repo. That's where I know we discussed a little bit in Discord about that, but I just wanted to maybe understand what we're trying to accomplish with them. From what it seems like, the tests are essentially just ensuring that the types that are generated have certain elements. And to me, it seems like we're essentially testing only the fact that type chain is working as expected. So I just wanted to talk about that and see if there's really a reason to continue maintaining those tests, since they're for every change that happens to Solidity, you're going to pretty much guaranteed to incur a change to the tests in that repo. So I just wanted to talk through that a little bit more and understand it.
Sure, Phil. So yeah, essentially, it's basically checking whether basically like let's say you have types for generated for 1.3.0 of Market Protocol, and there have been few changes in the Market Protocol 1.4.4, 1.4.0 Solidity contracts, right? So since like the other developer kind of works on those, and let's say another developer is kind of working on generating the types, he wouldn't have much of idea about like what types have changed, right? So if both are not being done by the same person, so these tests will help to identify, okay, what will be the breaking changes, so that like we can list and identify and make sure that they're updated in the market.js or like anywhere else our types are being used. So that was the sole reason of having those function basically method / event checks in the types repo for the tests.
Right. So theoretically, shouldn't we be tracking changes that are breaking from the Solidity up? I mean, if I'm editing Solidity code or modifying any of the function signatures, theoretically those changes are getting captured in the release notes. And then as it's getting integrated into market.js, the tests should capture the same, right? So if there's issues with the types generated in the integration into market.js, the test should also there basically signify any breaking changes. I don't know that those tests, I just feel like it's really, like to go through, like the generation of the type should be simple, right? So right now, if I go through and edit those tests, we're adding, hours of work to essentially just test that type chain's functioning as expected, it seems, versus creating good release notes in a Solidity code base for anyone working upstream in market.js.
Yeah. So yeah, in a way, we are kind of testing whether type chain is generating those types appropriately or not. But let's say if it doesn't, there won't be a way for us to know unless we are going through the release notes and making sure it works. I mean, it defeats the purpose of having the types as part of what do you call automatic suggestions in the IDE basically. So this in an example, basically the same thing happened for Web3. So for Web3, like for the sign message in 1.0, what happened was like the types had address as the first parameter and data to sign as a second parameter. If there were tests to kind of capture that, it would have been easy, but I had to go and check the documentation to see that, okay, this has been changed. So basically like I wasn't able to get appropriate type suggestions directly in the editor itself. I had to kind of always go back to the docs and see which is the appropriate way to use those particular methods, which defeats the purpose of having the types in the first place.
So you're getting the hinting in the IDE to let you know of the change.
Exactly. Hinting along with, it's basically everything, right? It's just that hinting, what are the first parameter, what is the second parameter, along with what is the response type you can expect, everything with the types. So let's say if something is broken, we can never backtrack it unless we have some appropriate tests in place to make sure that everything is like working as expected. Definitely docs will help, but it's like extra efforts while developing if you're not relying on types and going to a documentation slash release notes and kind of checking them and making sure, like, we are kind of relying upon not the editor, but like reading information going on to the docs.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand that versus some other approaches, because it seems to me like if I leave those tests out or I modify all the tests to work now with the new types, still anyone who's working in market.js isn't going to, unless I communicate that, they're not going to have any idea of what's changed, right? They're going to have to look at a commit or something like that. So really, the changes, the release notes, and the solidity still seem like they perform the main needed functionality of letting people know what has changed. Because if I handed this off right now and let's say I updated all the tests, whoever's going to integrate that into market.js still isn't going to know what tests have been broken and changed to be fixed now, right?
Within the market.js, okay. But yeah, when you kind of update the types, the tests in the market.js will also kind of eventually break, right? If you don't update them because types have changed.
And that's what I'm getting at, right? Is that I think that's exactly where we should be catching any errors if there are any, right? Is that we test the functionality in the Solidity code base, so we know that all of those are working properly. And then
the types are not exactly checking the functionality; they're just ensuring the types that have been generated are appropriate. Are in sync with the changes that happen to contracts.
Yeah,
it's
right.
just for our reference that both are in sync. And market.js, it actually tests like the underlying functionalities of the contracts by performing those actions on the blockchain. So like,
right.
I feel the circle is kind of important. But yeah, I get that there's a lot of extra efforts in order to maintain tests across everywhere. But it definitely helps to kind of maintain them because I see it as an advantage rather than disadvantage. If we are going at fast pace, we can definitely skip, but we need to make sure that they're definitely up to date and everything is kind of working as expected, right? We need to make sure that tests are the only source of truth for us to kind of know at the moment, because you have a lot of developers kind of working simultaneously on multiple things. So,
okay. Cool, it's helpful. Yeah, I'll take a look and maybe for the time being we'll forgo them and kind of readdress at a later date when we have a little bit more time to address them. But your points are well taken and I understand it. So thanks for the conversation.
Sure, no problem.
All right. Anything else?
Just before that, Phil, so if you don't want to kind of update the tests and the types for the 1.4.0, it is fine because Web3 1.0 kind of breaks everything. So it doesn't make sense to kind of spend efforts and make sure the tests work.
Okay.
So if you can just like make sure the types that have been generated are in sync with the contracts like manually, that should do. No need to kind of like write tests at the moment, because like Web3 1.0 has completely changed the API, the testing framework we have to kind of create from scratch if we want to for the types. So
okay, yeah, it looks good. You can take a look at the PRs outstanding. So if you have time to review it, please do. But everything I saw looks appropriate.
Sure, I'll do that.
Cool, thank you.
Okay. Great. Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
great contract.
Everyone.
Yeah. Let's see. So last but not least, inspiration or not, I always find these videos very enjoyable by a company called Boston Dynamics. So check out a couple of those links. Let me know what you think. If you have anything else you want to add to the list or any other interesting quote unquote animals you found out there, let us know. With that, enjoy your day. Happy deving.
Colorado,
Phil?
I'm assuming we'll see you this evening at the town hall that's going on. Patrick, you're also welcome to join us if you'd like. If you want to come, let me know. We can RSVP you.
Okay, cool. Thanks. I'll check it out.
Awesome. Food. We're going to have a table there. It should be a pretty cool event.
Woohoo.
Woohoo!
All right, guys. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.
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 Bye.